Oh my God, I just read the email. They are willing to meet my salary expectation. I've just sent in my resignation letter today and I kind of feel overwhelmed. A year ago, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in architecture from the University of Manchester, and I wanted to work as a part 1 architectural assistant. I've always wanted to work 2 years before going back into my master's so I can gain a clear view of what the industry is about and also gain some savings. And for my first year, I really wanted to join a smaller firm because I prioritized gaining more skills and insight into project management, design, and REBA stages, and I felt like a smaller firm with more hands-on experience can provide me with these skills and knowledge. And hence, I have applied to a smaller firm in a town, and that is where I have been for the past year. But then, as the days went on, I was in a dilemma because I really loved the place I was working in, the people I'm living with, and the town in general. But I also had a bigger goal in mind, and it is that my second year needs to be gaining new skills in architecture from potentially larger scale architecture and also how a bigger firm runs. Hence, the job search begins. The first task is to put together my CV and portfolio. And while I was doing that, I just feel really jealous of people who can just apply to jobs with CVs because the portfolio part takes a lot of time. But I also feel lucky at the same time because I've done this last year, and this year I'm just updating the templates and also the CV, so it's not like I'm doing it from scratch. But nevertheless, it takes a lot of time, a lot of work to update my CV, and then even more work when it comes to the portfolio because there are some projects that I feel like shouldn't be in my portfolio anymore and I have to remove them. But I also need to add more new projects that are relevant to my current experience and also kind of update the index, update the style, and it's quite a lot of work. Next up comes the easier part, but only physically easier. It is actually more challenging in terms of your mindset and mentality, and that is the application process. I haven't done this last year, but this year I wanted to be organized, so I made a spreadsheet keeping track of all the firms that I've applied to, what date I have sent the application out so I can follow up on a later date, and also keep track of whether I've been ghosted, whether I've been rejected, or whether I've been invited to an interview. And I know this is the norm, the thing I'm about to say, and I shouldn't complain, but some applications take a really long time and I only have time to fill in 1 or 2 or 3 in one day, and I really wanted to just get the applications out and wait for the replies. And many of firms aren't really looking to hire as well, and the ones that are looking to hire have over 100 applications, and as one of the applicants, it just really challenges you mentally. And I just kept on thinking, wow, there's so much competition this year. It is so tough, and I just felt like I am not good enough, and I procrastinate and avoid applying just by convincing myself that I will get rejected and I'm not good enough for them anyway. So I've received some rejections today, which is not too big a deal, but I think the thing that's hitting me the most right now is I've sent out some resumes and CVs and cover letters, portfolios, for a week now and heard nothing back. A few has gotten back to me saying they're not hiring at the moment, but I think it's not the rejection that's hitting me the hardest. It's more like no response. But as they say, no news is good news, right? So I feel like I'm suddenly overwhelmed by this surge of discouragement, because even though it's just a weekend and I won't be expecting any emails, whether it's good or bad replies, it's just all that time has given me space to further spiral into the fact that, okay, there are some rejections, and yes, I've been shortlisted for one, but it's just the majority of them, there are no replies, and that just keeps on spiraling in my brain, like, am I not good enough, or are my skills not enough? Like, what is it that's not good enough? Is it my visualization? Are my designs not complicated enough? Or is it me not promoting myself well? Which is like all these questions that is just really
hits you on a personal level, I think.
After that weekend where I was beginning to spiral, it actually continued for a few weeks because I haven't really heard back from firms. A lot of them basically ghosted me. Some are really polite. They came back with an email saying they're not looking to hire. And I will still continue my application processes, looking at different firms where they're hiring and sending out applications a few at a time. But the self doubt and insecurity just continues to grow exponentially. And it was not a good feeling. And just when I was really desperate and really insecure, an interview opportunity came. I was so happy to finally receive an interview and I said yes. But then I kept on thinking in my head, it was a firm in London and I really love London as a city. And it was a great firm, but I knew that even if I had gotten the job, still wouldn't be able to afford living in London due to the massive inflation and the current economy. And I made the really hard decision and declined the interview. I was experiencing conflicted feelings and also self doubt of whether I'm just letting go of an amazing opportunity, but then I knew that it wouldn't be feasible for me and I try not to dwell on it. And that day, I heard from a few other friends about how they've received multiple interview invitations, and I was so happy for them because it's such a massive step. But then I fell into the spiral again of further self doubt and of being not good enough for the industry. And I was just so sad. I don't want to think about it anymore. And I freed out a Friday evening night just to eat wings and watch TV and cuddle with the two dogs and relieve some stress. Then something happened. I received an interview invitation from a firm in Birmingham that I really like, and I was super happy and I was like overjoyed, ecstatic, jubilant, any adjective that you can use to describe happiness. But I also felt this immense pressure to do well as I wanted to get the job, but also feared that if I don't get this one, I won't have another chance because I've received no other interviews. And I tried my very best to prep and watch job interview videos online. I was really nervous. And even though I've prepared quite well, I kept having imposter syndrome, thinking that I'm not good enough. And that is a really bad mentality to have before an interview when interviewers want candidates to exude confidence. So I tried every trick in the book to hype myself up, including giving myself a pep talk, talking to myself in the mirror, telling myself I can do it. And let me tell you, listening to empowering music really helped because I made a playlist on Spotify called Baddie and I listened to that nonstop and I felt my confidence surging through the roof. Three of my favorite songs that helped was Fame, Hall of Fame, and Unstoppable. I also really struggled with picking an outfit to wear to the job interview due to my limited options in my wardrobe, but this is my fit and I went with it. But do let me know, is it a fit or is it not a fit? What do you think? Is it good? So it's the night before the interview. I've tried to prep, gone through the portfolio, quite nervous. Kind of really want to get this job, but at the same time, just really nervous. And I'm just really paranoid they're going to ask questions that I don't know answers to, or ask some questions that I haven't prepared, or even if I know how to answer, I won't answer it in a way that's satisfactory. Just all these like insecurities coming up right now, and that's really not helpful to build up confidence for tomorrow. But fingers crossed, I hope everything goes well. So I was really nervous before and after the interview, and I was just focusing on the interview, so I forgot to film. But I was just going to talk through the interview process and what my feelings were. So I arrived in Birmingham, and I had the interview. I went in 15 minutes earlier to give a good impression. And they were really friendly, and it was more like a conversation than an interview. They asked me to talk through my portfolio, asked me a little bit about my CV, and then basically asked me if I knew about the company, which of course I prepped. So it all went really well. and the interview lasted around 30 minutes, although it was scheduled and the calendar invite for 45 minutes. So I was feeling a little insecure about, maybe I am boring, or maybe they don't really want to know a lot of stuff about me. That's why I'm out early. But then I just try and focus on, okay, I got this done. And I have the rest of the day in Birmingham, so I'm just gonna walk around in the city center. Got some chocolates, but then I just wanted to really go back home and just chill my bed and relax. So I was there for 2 more hours and I just took the train home. And then while I was scrolling on my emails, something happened. I got the offer. It was insane. Like, I wasn't jumping up and like, oh my god, like dancing because I was so happy. I was just shocked. And because there's a lot of things that happen within the short time span of a couple of weeks. And also that day, I was just trying to process everything, and everything was so overwhelming. When I looked at it and I was like, what? I just froze. So I didn't really had a lot of time to process, but after a day or two, I was like super happy. Oh my god, like they like me, like they gave me an offer so quickly. Like it was 30 minutes after I've left the firm, they actually sent the offer. And I was just like, oh, I feel validated. I finally feel like I belong somewhere, and the feeling was just amazing. So I've written for a counter proposal to see if they can raise the wage a tiny little bit, to kind of align with my expectations. Send it this afternoon. Don't think they've gotten back yet, but I always have this immense anxiety every time I send an email regarding, I don't know, offers or interviews or everything. What if, like, they think my request is too outrageous and they retract it, or what if they only have this slot for an interview, and if I'm not free, then okay, bye, it's just, all these thoughts are running wild again. Just hope it's gonna be okay. Oh my god, I just read the email. They are willing to meet my salary expectation, and I thought they're going to meet me halfway, but they're happy to meet the number that I put out. So I'm so happy right now. I just called my friend. We just hung up. I just checked my email. Then I called my friend again to tell her news. It's just So it's the day after I received an approval for my counter offer, and I wanted to ponder for a little bit more last night. So I didn't reply yet accepting the offer, but like I'm just paranoid that I'm gonna miss something. So I just wanted to give myself a little bit more time to think about it. But yeah, I am keen to get things going, and I think I'm just gonna accept the offer today and proceed with like the formalities of getting employed, like the contract, and like getting an offer letter and other things like that, which is exciting. Little updates. So I've agreed to the amount that they have agreed to. So now the formal bits can get started. They have put me into contact with another staff so they can send over the contract and all the legal stuff. She hasn't sent it over yet, but I'm assuming she's going to send it tomorrow. And things are about to get settled down, and just trying to calm myself. It's really overwhelming because everything happened so quickly and so suddenly. But, well, I can't even speak right now, but at the end of the day, it's good news. So I have just read the documents that they've sent over, but it's a lot of documents. Like for my first job, it was literally 2 PDFs. Like one of them was the contract, and then the other was maybe some more information that I need to know. But this one is like 5 or 6 documents, and a few that I need to sign, a few that I need to read. So right now I've printed all the documents out to read it through. It's a really thick document. Want to get it done today, get it signed so I can get things moving, but yeah, it's gonna take some time because I want to read it in detail. That's why I also printed it out to read it on paper, because it's been really quick, everything's so overwhelming, but I'm just ready now to get it done, get it settled.
Just handed in my resignation letter today. Everyone's so nice and supportive. I'm a little bit sad to go, but it also feels like it's gonna be a new beginning and I'm looking forward to new things.
So I asked the firm whether it's gonna be a permanent contract or if it's gonna be a term contract, because it doesn't say, but all the kind of additional terms they're sending me is like all the terms they're using is permanent staff, continuous employment. So I just wanted to confirm whether it's a permanent role. Kind of expecting it to be, but then they came back with amended offer of employment saying it's gonna just last for 1 year, which I think is kind of normal for part one architectural assistants. But at the same time, I was like, oh, 1 year. It seems like, oh, after 1 year, I'm gonna be jobless. But I don't know. I'm just trying to focus right here on what's happening right now and see how it goes. Filling in all the documents and reading through them was a lot of work. There's a lot of wordy technical terms, and also filling them in on a PDF on an iPad is not the easiest task. I exported them but then realized errors, so I have to re-import them again, and there were Wi-Fi problems, but after a long time, it's done. I have finally sent back documents to the firm, and I just feel so relieved and excited at the same time. But it's just, this has been a really big roller coaster, like physically, emotionally, mentally, because like applying to jobs is such a hard part, not just applying, but also like the mental state you're in, where you don't receive any feedback or replies, or just receiving rejections, and it's just hits you so much, like the insecurity, the self-doubt. But like, I'm feel really lucky that I actually managed to secure an interview, and then the interview went well, and now I have a job offer, and now the job offer is settled, and I'm just really excited to see where this will lead and what it will bring into my life. And I think next step, I'll be moving, so I'll try and look into some new accommodation, so there might be videos about that coming soon. So if that's something you're interested in, don't forget to keep updated to my channel. And I'm just so excited and relieved and happy, and everything is good. I feel like this is the part where I say, oh, it's all worth it, all the turmoil. But the process of feeling all the turmoil, all the insecurities, self-doubt, spiraling, it was really tough. Like, it's really tough job hunting, this process, both physically and mentally, and I've applied to a lot of firms, and I feel like a lot of you might be going through this right now, the same thing, and you might feel alone. And I wanted to tell you that you're not alone. I completely understand how you feel, but don't give up, and you have to, most importantly, believe in yourself, because I feel like the confidence part is going to determine a lot of whether you can achieve something. So believe in yourself, and I believe in you too. Let me know about your job hunting process down in the comment section below. Is it as tough, or is it even tougher, or is it easier? Let me know. Thank you so much for going through this journey with me. It's not easy. It's really tough, but I'm glad it's done, and I'm glad that you're all here with me, and thank you so much.